Wednesday, my dude.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Punch Up Pod with Lila and Pat. Pat, are you ready to be on the show?
Yeah, I thought I'd clean my glasses so I could see your beautiful face.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
I pivoted there.
That's good. Flattery will indeed get
Winging
you
it.
everywhere. How are you?
Yeah, I am good. On my days off, I did electrical work for my parents. That was not the most fun I've had on my days off for a 3-day weekend, but it feels like today's a day off. So
Yeah, my whole schedule is all like discombobulated. But that was very nice. You are a good son.
yeah, well, I almost didn't have a choice, to be honest. When your dad calls you and explains this huge electrical thing he's going to do and has questions about it, and he doesn't seem to have the positive and negative wires correct.
Oh God!
Just like, I'm an electrician. I can't let him burn his house down.
Right. Always check the red. It goes red, yellow, green. No, I'm kidding. I have no idea. Always bet on black.
How's your world? How was your
you
went to the airport.
I did. My son Xander left this morning. He won't be back until Thanksgiving. My heart is across the country. We got up. We had a really fun night last night. Lots of karaoke. It's my fave. And then I was so, my stomach kind of was feeling sad in the middle of the night. I knew I had to get up at 4:30 anyway to get him to the airport. So I barely slept. Josh and I took him to the airport. And I came back and crashed, and we got a little bit of a late start today because of that. So I'm I'm playing catch up, but I am happy to be here with all of you, because otherwise I would be like even more sad than normal, because one of my boys is back at school. So
yeah, Xander's such a good kid.
Thank you for saying that. He is a really good kid. He had so much fun when you were here. You still haven't met Asher in person. We got to get that in-person meetup again sometime soon.
True. For our project, we're going to meet, which we've never told people about, but we're working on a little project.
Yeah. I don't want to. Oh, you guys, thank you. You guys are all so sweet. Thank you.
Oh, we should announce. Sorry to cut you off, but we should announce that we are actually officially having a Thursday show starting tomorrow.
For sure. It's happening 6:30 tomorrow. We're doing it finally. We've been promising for such a long time that we were getting our acts together, and it's finally happening.
Yes, sir.
Yes, but we will send out reminders and get that set up as we cobble it together just a little more, just the last few pieces, but we are good to go and very excited about it. Yes, what are you drinking?
Jay was asking. It's a hazy IPA. It's green, hence the green screen made it all disappear. But it's from Temescal Brewery in Oakland, and it's pretty good beer.
All right.
Hazy IPA.
Some of us say Temescal. You say Temescal?
I say Temescal. I don't know. Am I wrong? I think it's Temescal.
Really? Here.
Well, the only reason I say that is because I know that was the name of one of the dorms in my college, and everyone in college called it Temescal.
All right.
But we could be wrong too.
I mean, those college kids, maybe they know. And before we get to all of our wonderful supporters, Perry Stein just chimed in with an amazing super chat and a whatever the 180 of amazing is about Chelsea Clinton.
That's a good news.
Cannot get rid of these Clintons. Today, Chelsea Clinton all but declared she's running for Congress on the same day the Epstein victims said her father abused some of them. Look for liberal feminists to support her anyway. 100%. It is so disgusting.
There she is.
That anybody in the Clinton family can show her face or his face or whoever. What a repugnant family they are.
And just to be a shoe-in for the position, it's the Nepo. We don't need more Nepo babies. I mean, how many times we're going to see this? You got it with Trump. You got it with the Clintons.
Trump,
it just goes
Clinton,
on and on.
Biden. Yeah. Like enough.
Pelosi's.
Yeah. It's like enough. And yeah, like why did Hillary even get to be the junior senator from New York? Like what had she done before that except for be married to the president of the United States? Like, I don't know. It's just a very
sympathy because he was a cheating piece of shit.
Yeah, and allowed her then to excuse her vote for the Iraq War for her career, which I don't even know if that will be a disqualifying vote anymore because nothing even matters. It's such a mess.
Hey, Juliana.
Hey, Jules. Good to see you. Your son started school today. I actually got him to bed early, so here I am. Wow, you're amazing. Because I'll tell you, when my kids were little and I had to get up at 6:30 to get them to school, I would pretty much call it a night. I was like showered, washed, and so kudos to you and welcome.
Yeah. Amen. If I feed my pets, I'm like, oh, I need a nap.
Yeah, it's a lot to take care of.
Can't even understand.
And okay, so we want to thank our wonderful members, our heroes and sheroes.
Thank you.
Tomorrow, just you wait, 6:30 p.m. It's a slight shift in time. We do not expect Jules or anybody with very young children to stay up that late, but we are excited. And thank you all. Thank you. I'm gonna just like all the notes from the front office. Please make sure to like and subscribe and smash that notification bell.
Absolutely. Leave comments. Obviously, Lila is right is always a safe one.
Yes, that's my favorite. All right, should we just get into it? Are you ready to spin that wheel?
Yeah, we got a cheers to get to, right?
Are we not doing the wheel first? We're doing the cheers first?
I think that's usually what we do.
To mescal, and reversing the order.
Hey, it's our show. We could
do anything.
Roll the one good thing and get us out of here.
Because we got to prep for tomorrow. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so our cheers tonight comes from the Venice Film Festival and the crew who made the movie Voice of Hind Rajab. They got a 22-minute standing ovation. Oh, wow, that's really small. Sorry. The Voice of Hind Rajab stunned the Venice Film Festival. 22-minute standing ovation, the longest of the festival, amid tears, Palestinian flags, and chants of Free Palestine. Directed by Kawthar Ben Hania, the film tells the true story of 5-year-old Hind Rajab killed by Israeli forces in Gaza in 2024. Executive producers Joaquin Phoenix and Rooney Mara joined the team on the red carpet. Critics see it as a frontrunner for the Golden Lion, Venice's top prize for best film. And this is one of the actresses from the film. Her name is Saja Kalani giving a speech.
We ask, isn't it enough? Enough of the mass killing, the starvation, the dehumanization, the destruction, the ongoing occupation. The voice of Hind Rajab does not need our defense. This film is not an opinion or a fantasy. It is anchored in truth. Hind's story carries the weight of an entire people. Her voice is one amongst tens of thousands of children that were killed in Gaza in the last 2 years alone. It is the voice of every daughter and every son with the right to live, to dream, to exist in dignity, yet all of it was stolen in front of unblinking eyes. And these are only the voices we know. Behind every number is a story that never got to be told. Hind's story is about a child crying out, "Save me." And the real question is, how have we let a child beg for life? No one can live in peace while even one child is forced to plead for survival. Let Hind Rajab's voice echo around the world. Let it remind you of the silence that has been built around Gaza. Let it name the genocide that silence protects. And let it pierce the word enough. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. For justice, for the sake of humanity, for the future of every child. Enough.
Well, cheers to them. I mean, you know, I feel like every time we show something like that, there's a part of me that's like, okay, I mean, 2 years in and we're still, you know, talking. But I do appreciate, I mean, like, I don't know. I know that Joaquin Phoenix has been vocal recently, but there were so many voices that could have been more vocal October 7th, October 8th, or years before. But you know, I guess, welcome.
Yep. But mostly it's cowards because the industry, you know, there'll be backlash from the industry.
Yeah.
But where it's especially they're especially guilty to me is that, you know, the people that are such superstars, they're going to get work regardless. They're the ones that should be speaking up, which would then give permission for everyone below them too.
100%. And do you remember at the very beginning, Tom Cruise's agent at CAA wrote something about either a ceasefire or, like, you know, let Gaza live or something very innocuous, right? And she was demoted, possibly fired, but demoted. He marched into CAA because, you know, he makes God-forsaken amounts of money for, you know, the 20th Mission Impossible or whatever. And did not say she has the right to free speech, Palestine should be free, ceasefire, stop the genocide, stop the occupation, stop sending arms to this rogue country. No, he just said, she's my agent and I need her to continue. And they're like, okay. But imagine if he had used his voice, or Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, you know, the people who did, for some reason, Mark Ruffalo was the only person I did not hear getting fired by his, like, because he spoke out pretty early on and was not let go, as opposed to, you know, Susan Sarandon, who's a huge actress. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I've seen Richard Gere out recently a few times.
I mean, hey,
you know,
welcome. I mean, seriously,
late,
like, it just makes me gross. But yeah, it's disgusting. It's just really disgusting that it takes, and, you know, well, anyway, we're going to get to all of it. Okay. So cheers to them for, you know, making this movie. And clearly the rest of the world and even the people in our country, like the regular people, are open to this and disgusted by Israel and its genocide and US and UK's funding of it. So their popularity would continue. It's just the gatekeepers who, you know, thrive off.
Right. And look, if you listen to the people, I mean, look at the Venice Film Festival. They ran, what's her name? The Jewish actress that's terrible.
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot. Is it Gadot or Godot?
I think they say, I mean, I've heard her say Gadot, but I have no idea, because I don't think the
we're going to tomato this whole show.
We're going to do the whole thing. We're just going to keep correcting each other and have you guys weigh in. Yeah, she's skipping.
But they ran her out.
Goodbye. Over 1,500 Italian film industry figures signed an open letter targeting this actress over her alleged Israeli government support, which, I mean, she was just there last month at Hostage Square talking to fellow Israelis and giving them her support. And I mean, like, you know, I don't want to belittle the fact that there were, you know, horrible things that happened that day, even though I understand why they happened, even though I don't call Hamas terrorists, all of that. But, like, on a very personal level, of course, you know, that's a horrible thing to happen to people.
Yeah, but look, 2 years, you know, having that view that she was very vocal about, you know, supporting Israel, a couple months after the attack, even, sure, you can sort of understand it. But 2 months in, the whole world's called it the genocide forever.
Yeah.
Like, if you're on Team Israel at this point, you're a terrible fucking person.
Yeah.
And she should have been around to Venice for her acting alone. Let's be honest. Like, you talk about just pretty privilege. Like, she should not be in any of these movies she's in. She's just a pretty woman. That's it.
I mean, yeah, I have so much to say about that as somebody who's been struggling, to have a career out here for, over 3 decades. I totally agree. And also, there is a way to show sympathy to personal sadness of people who are dealing with, their loved ones, whatever else their actions, but being taken from them. I understand that. But then if you are a human with any integrity or empathy or understanding of this whole situation, you can still do that, but say, we understand why this happened. Israel's occupation has to end. We are an apartheid state. There should be an arms embargo. We actually need the help of the rest of the world to continue its BDS movement, and do all of that from the get-go. Then I would have much less of an issue with showing some sympathy to hostage families. Okay, so we should spin the wheel though before we get into it, right?
Yeah, let's do a quick intermission with the wheel spin to bring some joy before we all get depressed and end the show early. We were going to debate which wheel which one do you like? Do you like that one or do you like that one? We're kind of going back and forth on it.
Well, why don't we do one of each?
Yeah.
And then people can weigh in just to remind them. So do you want to do this? We'll do this one first for old time's sake. All right, here we go.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
It didn't land on the alcohol. Something
unbelievable.
Up.
I even had my finger on the scale.
All right. Well, let's start it off with some Black Cats.
All right.
Evie. Misty.
What?
Hey, mac and cheese. How you doing, buddy? Oh! Rumpus! What are you doing? My fucking god! Why do you like this? Pumpkin, come. Literally.
Look up here. Hey!
Betty's right there. Hi, baby.
That's really cute. I wonder how often Black Cats get sat on. That's very cute. Very cute. All right. So from the cute.
That reminds me.
Yeah.
We can ease into the depressing. I can share a little story about.
Okay, I'd love to hear
since you said cats getting sat on.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, one of my friends had a trampoline in his backyard, and somebody there at the party jumped off and landed on their dog and killed it. So there's your depressing story to transition us into this.
In a good mood for a moment. Wait, what? While you were there?
No, I wasn't there, but I know the people involved.
He jumped off of his trampoline onto his dog.
He just accidentally did it and killed the dog.
Oh, that's horrible.
All right, let's get on with the show.
I mean, for real, what is happening? I'm gonna get all that Lila's rights tonight because you just ruined it. All right. So we don't even know exactly who spread this. There was some hypothesis that possibly it was Blue MAGA, like, what's his face is dead. What's his stupid name? Trump is dead. He hadn't been seen in a while. There's been a lot of discussion about his hand, and clearly he's getting some kind of infusion is the, thought there. And for a while we would see bruises sporadically on his hand. And then we started seeing like a crazy amount of makeup base stuff. Then also his ankles are incredibly swollen, which is indicative of some sort of possible vein issue that he has. There was another supposition that either this was not really Trump, or it wasn't really Trump, right. Or when you enhance it and you do a real close in, the ridge of his forehead either made it look like it wasn't actually Trump, or that there's some brain issue happening, plus the drop, like the slack jaw Joe Biden look. So people were very worried. Then they would show that he was walking around the golf course, but like you just see him like in the golf cart. So people were really excited that maybe the one bad person in all of government was going to be dead.
Yeah, true. There's like 1,000, but he would be on the top of the list. But this fantasy started, like this ongoing he's going to die any day now stuff has been going on. Like it's a Maddow thing almost. It's like we're going to indict him any day now. So if that's not going to happen, the next fantasy is he's going to croak any day now. So the play-by-play watching his hell is just, it's ridiculous. Look, when he survived COVID, I thought COVID might get him.
I actually did too.
I was really rooting for COVID big time.
Yeah.
But when he survived that like twice,
right,
or whatever, he's going to get a bullet, or he's going to be in office for 4 years.
Yeah. The other thing though that was weird and things that have not been explained was like there were some roads that were closed around the White House and around Walter Reed. Like there were just random things. And then I start thinking like it's all just a diversionary tactic, right?
It's a diversionary tactic, but I also heard on the road situation that's standard fare after a certain time at night. That's just how it happens every time there.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just conspiracy nonsense. Like, let's just focus on what a fucking bad president he is and his bad policy, but he's not too likely to die. And if he dies, you get
JD Vance, which is just as bad, if not worse. So, and it's all horrible. But yeah, it does feel very like Blue MAGA game theory. Like this is how Hillary could still be president. It's like, so anyway, he turns out still alive. They put out the New York Post excited to tell us President Trump is alive and well after online rumors of his death. And of course, there had to be the press conferences where he is asked, and he seemed not even to know that had been a thing. I don't know. It was a very like this actually should make people who care about him more worried than all of the, online fodder.
Something completely different, but about a big viral social media trend over the weekend. How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see you for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really? I didn't see that. I have heard, it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said, there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him, and we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. No, I heard that. I get reports. Now, you knew I did an interview that lasted for about an hour and a half with somebody, and everybody saw that was on one of your competitors.
Look, the men behind him showing the insides of their, like they can't even keep their facial expressions in check.
Look, he obviously knew about the story.
Yeah.
Like they got him in front of the press, to clear it up. They were putting out the photos,
It's ridiculous.
There's the audio released that, that created some more. The audio was really weird because that sounded like a AI voice, to be honest.
Well, yeah, we'll play it, but it also sounded like it did not sound all that healthy. Like it's just always interesting when they're trying to combat the rumors and they're not really offsetting the worst thoughts that people might be having. Yeah. We'll play the audio. There was also this object being thrown from a window. So some people happen to have, I mean, like, this all feels so strange. Like, what is that?
another one?
Why were people focused on that right then?
Yeah, let's say in that little outhouse on the end. Oh, somebody there, right? Right now, right? Oh, there you go. You got it? You zoomed in?
So that was bizarre. First of all, why
Yeah,
would
I
you need
haven't,
for anything
I haven't
out of
followed
it?
that story. What are they claiming that was? What's the conspiracy on it?
Here you go. You ready? Let's hear what they have to say.
There's a video that is circulating online now of the White House where a window is open to the residents upstairs and somebody is throwing a big bag out the window. Have you seen this?
No, that's probably AI generated.
So
Actually, you can't open the windows. You know why? They're all heavily armored and bulletproof.
So that's a fake video.
Well, it's got to be, because I know every window up there. The last place I'd be doing it is that, because there's cameras all over the place, right? Including yours. No, but every window, I've never seen a window that's, in fact, my wife was complaining about it the other day. She said, love to have a little fresh air come in, but you can't. They're bulletproof. And number one, they're sealed. And number two, each window weighs about 600 pounds. You have to be pretty strong to open them up. No, that has to be, where was the window? Let me see.
600-pound windows, huh? That's pretty wild.
And his wife. Does he normally talk about her as his wife?
Looks like this is on the 15th Street side.
It's not Alan Schiff, but that would be fun. Or wait,
Yeah, those windows are sealed.
Adam Schiff. Is that who you
They're all
guys
sealed,
are
you can't
saying
open
it
them.
looks like?
It's the kind of thing they do. And one of the problems we have with AI, it's both good and bad. If something happens really bad, just blame AI. But also they create things, you know, it works both ways.
Whoops.
He just tells on himself.
This is why they all hate him, because he just tells the truth. Yeah, it's just AI. Did I just like blow 11 people out of the water and say that they were, trying to oh my God, my brain just shut down again. I was like rolling with it, and I was like, oh God, I'm gonna mispronounce it. But yeah, it's just AI. You can claim that about anything. It's all fake news unless it's something you want people to know about, and then you create it yourself. It is scary times, because when I first saw that video, that's all I could think was, oh, it must be AI. How do I even check? Because it never came from a verified news account, which, by the way, wouldn't even matter that much anyway. Watching the reports come out, what our legacy media has been doing for the last, I was going to say 25 years, but honestly, 50, 60 years for all eternity. But yeah, what do you think? I have no idea what that is. Who knows?
It looked like a head. It's a severed head. I'm going to run with that. Let's get that rumor going.
Is it Melania? Has anybody seen Melania recently?
It's actually Trump's, and somehow like Ted Cruz is Trump.
Is actually president now.
Like, that was Ted Cruz speaking in front of us in a Trump suit. Like, that's the level of conspiracy, though, that these websites actually put out there that people start eating up. Like, Pizzagate opened the floodgates to all this bullshit.
Yep.
And all those sites they're getting rich off spreading all these conspiracy nonsense. Like, you can create a website for like $10 a month.
Yep.
And get $1,000 in advertisements, and then do that with AI. Just duplicate that website 20 times, and you're living off of your fake news.
And the people in power actually love it, because it's all diversionary, tactics, and
Absolutely.
It creates chaos, and nobody knows what to believe, and so they kind of have like a free path moving forward. It's honestly terrifying. Did you want to play the audio?
We don't have to play the whole thing, but it really is a funky audio. It sounds really off to me. Like, I would have thought this was AI for sure, if I had to guess. Where is it? Do you have it ready?
Yeah.
I'm very disappointed in him. He and I always had a great relationship. Very disappointed. Thousands of people are dying. They're not Americans that are dying, but they're Russians and they're Ukrainians, and there's thousands, and it's a war that makes no sense. And it would have never started if I were president, and that's what bothers me even more, because the election was totally rigged, and it's a shame. We'll see what happens, but I'm very disappointed in President Putin. I can say that, and we'll be doing something to help people live. You know, it's not a question of Ukraine. It's help people live. 7,000 people are dying every single week, soldiers mostly, but 7,000 people. And if I can help to stop that, I think I have an obligation to do it.
The humanitarian who values human life over everything. I think what he's actually really upset about is that this went on without him. Chinese President Xi Jinping warned the world was facing a choice between peace or war at a massive military parade in Beijing, flanked by Russia's Vladimir Putin and North Korea's Kim Jong-un in an unprecedented show of force. It really was something, especially juxtaposed against the birthday military parade Trump threw for himself a few months ago, where those tanks just kind of creaked by empty stands of, you know, very sparsely filled supporters watching that parade. Did I just lose you? I can never tell. Oh, yep. He's gone again. Darn it. All right. Lila was right. So, you know, the trend, I'm going to get it wrong again, so I'm not going to say it right now. We're going to go instead to what's happening with the Epstein files being released, sort of, which was mostly what, 30,000 pages. That's back. 30,000 pages. Hey, is our show interrupting some other fun thing you've got going on over there?
I've had enough of your bullshit, Lila. I'm out of here.
Go.
No more. No more.
No more. I was just saying that, you know, there are so many reasons for the distractions, diversions to be taking place. Obviously, the lack of peace and ceasefire being brought in the first 24 hours of Trump's second regime that he promised were going to happen between Russia and Ukraine, the genocide that he is arming, funding, profiting off of, and excited to open up his Gaza Riviera atop the corpses of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, the release of Epstein files, which are not only heavily redacted, but also contain everything that was already released. So, you know, it becomes a sort of a Herculean task to go through all of that quickly and find the names. But there was a press conference with many of the survivors. This is one of them. And the other thing that,
okay.
Say again.
Sorry, I disappeared for a second because my VPN connected,
That's
which
your
I normally
massage.
turn off. I turn off for the show, but now it's back. So the Israelis are listening because they own the VPN. So now, you know.
Yeah. And as soon as we start talking Epstein and his connection to God, you're gonna freeze again.
Right.
They always get you in a contempt.
Okay, so before we get off the Trump thing, I had one thought, which was him being mad about all that other stuff.
Okay. I honestly, like, it sort of is funny, but I also really do have to wonder because, there you're back. I was going to say, because every time you start talking about, like, you say Epstein and then all of a sudden it freezes.
Can you hear me? Am I
Yeah,
here?
I can now. Yeah.
That's so weird. I was just saying on the Trump thing, it's not that complicated. You know, he's not deep enough to care about human lives lost.
Yeah.
He saw a military parade that outdid his by a mile.
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to.
Well, and all the other dictator guys are like partying it up.
They're all buddies
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rex
He's not
is
in the little
becoming
evil club.
Yeah. I mean, even Modi and Lula were, you know, embracing each other in a sign of solidarity, right? And they could not be further apart. But when you have Brazil and India saying, you know what, we'll put aside our differences just for this to show the US and the global North that we're not going to be subjugated by them anymore. You know, Trump, I mean, honestly, not intentionally, but this could be the thing that brings the rest of the world together, is Trump's catastrophic, whimsical tariffs and decrees and foreign policy that nobody can rely on or plan for.
Yeah, and obviously the economic impacts to the world from Trump are the number one issue the world cares about, because most governments are just as corrupt as ours. We're just like peak capitalism level corrupt.
Yeah.
But couple that with Israel, and we're the number one reason Israel is bringing everybody down, and so we're bringing the economy and the whole world down.
Yep.
And we're all sitting here watching these dead babies and burning, awful shit every day because of Trump and the U.S., not Trump.
Yeah, I mean, we were
right now,
obviously, yeah. Pat, it is true that your audio is choppy now. I know it's never going to end. Yeah, I mean, obviously it started with, it's been going on for decades, but the newest stage of the genocide of Palestinians started under Biden. But I mean, truly every day I see something I never thought I would see again in my life. Yesterday, it was an unborn fetus whose half of his head or her head had been blown off. Like, obviously, the fetus was killed, the mother was killed, the whole family was killed. And it's just happening in front of all of us. And, it's wonderful to see this bigger flotilla happening. It's wonderful to see reactions from other countries and people in other countries. But the fact that this is continuing is just, the mind boggles, truly.
I've already forgotten, but which country was it that just recently recognized Palestine as a state?
I mean, well, here's the thing: is a lot of them are saying it, but they say it like, "Oh, if Israel doesn't stop its genocide by September, then we're going to recognize Palestine as a state." Like, so they can only be recognized if Israel continues its genocide. But if Israel stops, then you're going to pull the right to self-determination from the country that's being genocided. It's just such a weird metric and just to talk about it that way is, honestly, it's vile. But yeah, I know Belgium. Great Britain.
Oh, I think it is Belgium that I was thinking of. Somebody said Scotland in the chat, tweet. But
yeah,
I think with Belgium, I watched an interview with their prime minister. I believe it's prime minister, whoever's in charge of the country. Every country has a different term for it, but I think it was their prime minister, and he said that, look, the only way we could get this resolution passed was to placate some of the people that he disagreed with who had power, to support it or not. And so I think with Belgium, their wording had something to do with
we're getting audio stuff happening again. And
I'll fix it in just a second.
Okay, yeah.
I think the qualification they had was that Hamas had to release the hostages.
Oh my God!
And couldn't be a part of leadership in going forward for them to recognize them as a state.
Why don't any of these people talk about the 10,000 Palestinian hostages, let alone the 2 million who are being kept hostage in Gaza? Like, nothing. Is that strike, or did you just draw something? What's happening over there?
I'm moving things around, trying to fix my audio. Is it still choppy?
Yeah, it's a little choppy. All right, let's continue with Trump stuff before we really delve into Israel, just so we can, get all of his grossness out of the way. Okay, so this is, but to tell you the truth, the audio, and we both uploaded it at different times, but her audio isn't great. It's it's clear, but it's not synced up, talking about how the victims have lists. And I have to say, I don't understand why they can't come out with their lists. Like, I understand why they might be fearful and not want to be in the public eye. I'm making no, this is no indictment at all, of course, of the victims, but what's the holdup? Let's see that list. Why can't we just get the list?
And also they're saying that the list is going to be private. So that's an interesting element of it, is how is that, it's a list for victims, not everybody. So I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out. But I'm gonna while we play this, I'm gonna disconnect my VPN, which might
Okay.
take me off the camera for just a
All
second.
right, we're just going to play this. This was from the press conference today, which went on for quite a while. And the other thing that Trump made sure happened was there was a heavy presence of flyovers by noise canceling planes or drowning out planes, which was, I'm sure, a tactic to disrupt this this press conference. But so here is just a minute with one of the victims.
Transparency is justice. Release the files and the secrecy and stand with us in declaring that no one, no billionaires, no politicians, not world leaders, is above the law. And let me announce now, several of us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list of names. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details on that. Because history is watching, and so are the women who will come after us. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's starting to feel like, first of all, Kimmy, I see you're saying that Marjorie Taylor Greene had a good speech, and I know, we've shown clips of her so much recently, and obviously, we can't stand her overall, but she's having a few good moments. But it just kind of felt like just today we didn't want to put her in there. But yeah, she's been a lot better than AOC or Ilhan Omar, who now, I mean, I haven't done enough research on this yet because it just came out that she's apparently, her portfolio has skyrocketed and she's got tens of millions of dollars that her husband somehow has accrued in the last year. I don't know. It's all really disappointing. And, but before I mention it much more, but anyway, the only reason that we didn't show the Marjorie Taylor Greene is because we've shown her a couple of times recently, and I know you aren't either, but like it started to feel like, oh gosh, like we just keep showing her.
Yeah, we're not going to pivot to being fans. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But look, on the stock trading front, I mean, people need to realize, of all the Democrats, Ro Khanna has made more money off stocks than anybody.
Yeah.
So like, and he's Mr. Progressive Bernie guy, and he hides behind, well, it's his wife's money. She's getting rich off this stuff. Well, whatever.
She's getting rich off of my insider knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see her doing something like this. Harosh knew that Marjorie Taylor Greene said she would willingly read out the list of offenders' names in Congress where her free speech is protected against prosecution. I would love it. She's been more outspoken on Israel's genocide than AOC, Bernie Sanders, who, still won't even say the word genocide. So I hate promoting her because not promoting her. And I know that's not what you're saying, but anyway, we just felt like we've shown Tucker and Marjorie Taylor Greene more than we can all stomach in the last few weeks. And so we were just taking a break, but I really hate that it feels like there's a part of this that's feeling a little bit sensationalized, right? Where it's like, we have names and we could do this too. It's like, well, just get them out. Like, what are we waiting for? I don't know. It started I feel like we are living in the worst reality show in the world, and it makes me distrustful of everybody. And I'm not saying that about the victims. They should do whatever they want, however they want to handle it. But it's just making me uncomfortable.
I think ultimately it's a positive because it means there's some onus. Congress has to do something, because if they don't do something, these women are going to do something on their own. So there's some power in it. It's just what do they do with it? We have to see where it goes.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Is my audio still fucked, by the way?
Good. Yeah. I'm so frustrated.
I'll just unplug it all when we play a video, and we'll see what the
Okay.
hell
All right.
happens.
Then
We got all
let's
new fancy equipment, brand new
I know
microphone.
it's crazy. It's crazy. It's because of your Israeli VPN. It's because Mossad really, wants to stifle you. Okay. We're spinning again. Oh, and you. Okay. We're spinning again.
See this fancy thing? This is like $200 right here. Come on. Sorry.
You should return it.
All right, spin the wheel. Let's go.
All right, we're spinning.
Yeah, baby.
All right. Come on. You love that maniacal laugh, right? All right. This is 1 second. Let me get this off of here. Gianmarco Ceresi talking about the Luigi effect and his own fame.
I'm going to talk about politics, but I want to be careful because you may have read there's a famous Twitch streamer named Hassan Piker, and he's very good, and he talks about politics a lot online. And he left America for like work, I think, and then when he flew back, he got detained at the airport. And I'm honestly, I fly back tomorrow, and I'm truly so scared they're not going to know who the fuck I am. I'll show my passport like Gianmarco Ceresi. I don't even think borders should exist. And they'll be like, right this way. I'll be like, no, wait, look at this. Here's a clip where I say if Elphaba was real, she'd be a member of Hamas. And they'll have to usher me into the country. I'll be like, no, my cousin's Luigi Mangione, I swear. We know Luigi? Yes. I'm a fan of Luigi Mangione. Of course, I can never do what he did because then I'd have to confront how people actually feel about my looks. I mean, God, you've seen that picture of him hiking shirtless? That's a guy going to the gym. That's a guy, he's deadlifting, he's bent. I mean, maybe that's why he has so much lower back pain. I got a personal trainer. He was like, what are your fitness goals? I said, to commit violence against the state. I know when you talk about Luigi, you're supposed to say he allegedly shot that guy, but if he didn't shoot him, then we just like him for being hot. I mean, especially, he is good looking, but also the bar is pretty low for that line of work. I mean, you saw the guy that tried to shoot Trump. He's like Luigi's Waluigi. He's the opposite, because he was hideous and he missed.
That was my fault. I forgot to wrap it. Were you even focused on that? Are you focused on?
No, I was just checking my audio. Is it any better?
It sounds good now. Yeah.
I have no idea why. I just switched all my plugs and plugged them in and out.
All right. Well, it worked. Gianmarco Ceresi, he's great. He has a lot of really good stuff. Lefty comedian. And the audio seems fixed, so we're crossing our fingers. All right, let's move on to the Democrats. The Democrats are very excited to know that Jerry Nadler's resigning because, as we said, there's a possibility that Chelsea Clinton could swoop right in there. However, there is another person who is being mentioned, which is completely, that's funny, completely, has been completely denigrated by the muckety mucks in the Dem elite, which is Lena Khan, the former commissioner of the Federal Trade Commission and a progressive icon who now lives in Harlem and has been shopping around for a district for months. Khan, whose name has been floated as a potential candidate, could be a prolific fundraiser in a campaign, sources speculated. While she does not appear to have publicly addressed key Middle East questions, Jesus Christ, I mean, honestly, Middle East questions.
Kiss the ring and put the hat on at the wall.
Yeah, this is was this the New York Times, I think? Or no, of course. Sorry, Jewish Insider. Middle East questions of genocide. The anti-monopoly advocate has praised Mamdani's campaign, raising early concerns that he would have a close and powerful ally in Congress if both are elected. Khan did not respond to a request In addition to Khan, another prominent figure whose name has been privately mentioned in the days after Nadler's unexpected announcement is Chelsea Clinton. According to people familiar with the conversation, Clinton has not confirmed her interest in the race to succeed Nadler, but is actively considering a campaign after debating a run for an open city council seat last cycle, said one person informed of her thinking. Maybe she should start a little smaller than running for Senate.
A little bit, maybe.
I mean, or not Senate, Congress.
Look, if Lena Khan runs, she's going to win. I mean, they're going to put everything against her, but the people are going to back her.
Yep.
Particularly if she's aligned with Palestine and if she doesn't bow to the Zionist movement.
Yep. And she's good on monopolies and antitrust laws. She's one of the only good things about the whole Biden regime. So of course the Democratic elites, don't want her. That was one of the things that both Mark Cuban and Reid Hoffman, who were, surrogates for Kamala, were very brazen about saying that if Kamala won, Lena Khan would be fired right away. I mean,
right.
just
and we're not talking about like secret meetings in the Hampton. We're talking like on CNN when asked about it. They're like, I would really consider not supporting her if Lena Khan is
or just like she's gone. No, she won't be here after that.
Right.
I'm calling an audible, by the way, because now I've waited too long for my second glass.
Absolutely. Cheers. I moved on to a different beer without
end.
Mike Dog, local brewery.
Excellent. All right. Beer. Good. I like it.
More camera friendly.
More camera friendly. Yes. Unlike I know I really wish that my green watermelon, the green part of my watermelon earrings would show up, but it's just, I don't know. What could I do? Put something behind them. So yeah, and then right away, of course, there are these Politico stories that giddy Republicans cheer Mamdani's impact on Democrats. Because yes, of course, here's Trump helping Cuomo. All of the most, vile, corrupt Democrats have done their best to try to smear Mamdani as an anti-Semite. And, he's going to ruin New York. All the billionaires are going to leave. Please, God, is that a threat or a promise? All the kind of stuff. And so now they're saying that Democrats are so worried. Democratic voters are not worried. It's the Wall Street, it's the Ackmans of the world who are very comfortable flipping from Dem to GOP. It makes no difference to them as long as the money rolls in. So the fact that Politico is doing the dirty work of these loathsome, billionaires is really telling.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the whole political ecosystem, I mean, it's hard to remember, but a year and a half ago, RFK Jr. was running in the Democratic primary. Yep. And now he's destroying the health of our entire country as a Republican. But
we've missed.
He would have done it as a Democrat if we let him.
100%. Yeah, that's what actually made some of the anti-COVID Dems love him. They thought, one, he was a peace candidate just because he talked about ending the war between Russia and Ukraine, and they loved that he said he was going to look into that. He was a vaccine skeptic. And listen, I'm fine with that. But real testing, real science, not studies that have been debunked for 25 years linking regularly scheduled childhood vaccines to autism. That's,
And science doesn't mean, if you're going to question it and invest more research, you don't get rid of the experts in the field on all the advisory boards. Like we replaced all the experts with a bunch of quacks that have no medical background in most cases, who just believe the same shit he does.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, we should go back to this a little bit, because
Yeah,
if Democrats actually cared, which I know we all know they don't, they're fine with all of this. In fact, their strategy is just to say we need to show the country that we can work in a bipartisan way. Our tent is so big, it includes all Republicans, but not leftists. They could be talking about RFK destroying what little trust in public health we still have. Although the truth is Biden and his CDC and public health experts, who were all, just economists who wanted to get the people back to work and return to normal, the urgency of normal, did a fair share of the heavy lifting in preparation for RFK to come in. But so here he is building the public trust, protect from threats, build infrastructure.
COVID's not a threat.
COVID, bird flu.
COVID is not a threat.
Like polio, measles, modernize systems, invest in workforce. I mean, it's just like lie after lie after lie. Enhance scientific
invest in workforce. He's cutting all the funding there is for research on all the
replacing it with AI to make sure that that your health insurance doesn't kick in. Like, what he says about poisoning the water and the air and our food, I agree with entirely. They've done nothing to combat all of the companies that are killing all of us and giving us cancer and asthma and decreasing our lifespan and our health. Doesn't talk about healthcare for everybody's, any kind of single payer health system that every other industrialized country has, but just wants to get rid of all the science and replace it with AI who can,
and look,
deny all of our claims. Yeah.
To me, look, everything he stands for falls apart when you look at it closer because, okay, let's say he's right on the vax stuff. He's right on COVID. He's right on, we need to get these things out of our food supply that are bad. He's right. Some of that stuff is right, but let's say he's right on all of it. Right. We're removing the government feature of checking into places that produce our foods and regularly pulling an item off the floor and testing it. We're removing food safety standards on a federal level. So it's up to states now, and states have to fund this themselves now because there's no federal money for it, and they have to implement a program for it because there's no, there's a federal program now that's
right.
Right. So so when you go buy something from Del Monte and the tomatoes, nobody's checking the tomato on the line unless California says we're going to check tomatoes and require the standard.
Right. And that's giving power back to the states. So states can do whatever they want. You can have Florida canceling all vaccine mandates. Or you can have states like California, Oregon, and Washington that are going to start coordinating health guidelines by aligning immunization recommendations informed by respected national medical organizations, regardless of shifting federal actions. Which again, and we talk about this all the time, but like bird flu started under Biden and his CDC and Department of Ag decided to minimize the threat because they did not want to harm the bottom line of their farmers across the country. And they thought that would, be too injurious a hit to their bank accounts. And so they basically just didn't talk. Not only did they lie and say, COVID's over, take off your mask. We don't need to stay home when you're sick, even though still now, almost no virus clears, even at 10 days, if you are infected with COVID. Get everybody back to work, back to school. Don't use the COVID money to get pure air and ventilation in public government buildings, schools, hospitals. Don't do any of that. Use it for cops. That was Biden. And so
it's wild to me that
the OSHA protections.
It's wild to me that so much of the left, like that's when the change started happening. When Delta, was it Delta Airlines that was the one that lobbied? They demanded, they said, we have to go down to a 5-day. Was it 5 at that point? I think they were the first. So they were saying you should be able to go back to work after 5 days with COVID.
Yep.
Based on no scientific evidence at all. And I think that's where the left divide started to happen, because the people that were like, oh, you know, I want to get out of my bubble. I'm this whole lockdown that's happened for a month and a half is killing me, you know, normalized. So they started following. So that was the point where they pivoted to believing all the corporate propaganda, because that was so clearly a policy directed by a corporation on our country that was based on not non-science.
Right.
And it should have been the rallying cry of the left to fight against that. And that's when we started seeing a lot of these Jimmy Dore types just, I just want to get back to fucking work. Or, you know, I want to get back to eating out and going to bars and, you know, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was a lot of that they just wanted to get back to normal and believe that everything was fine. I think another part was the liberals, Democrats, made a case, which I think is inaccurate, that if you said that you still needed to wear a mask, even if you were vaccinated, you were somehow anti-vax. So the talk about breakthrough infections became anti-vax in their narrative. And then, you know, this was the one good thing that Will Stancil ever did. And of course, the libs just creamed him for it. But I think it was probably in 2022 in the summer where he showed by graph that like 50% of the people who were hospitalized and dying from COVID were vaccinated, because the vaccine rates had gone up. And if you got very sick in the acute phase and went to the hospital because more people were vaccinated, more people, you know, the percentage of people who were hospitalized, many of them were vaccinated. If you stepped back from that, your response to being infected with COVID at that point was still, you had much better results if you were vaccinated, both from being hospitalized, from the degree of acuteness of the acute period. But because nobody wanted to talk about the fact that there were still breakthrough infections and they wanted to get everybody back. And then also there were people who are injured by vaccines. I mean, that does happen. You know, we know some of them. And if you're not going to talk about it and you're not going to be honest about the fact that happens with the flu vaccination, it can happen with any vaccination. It happens with HPV. Like, it can happen with any vaccine, but the results, you know, but that's not the way science works. It's not anecdotal. You have to deal with the numbers, and the results were still better with people getting
massively better
vaccine
is the thing,
right, than getting COVID, because people have those responses. Like, if your response is to the vaccine getting your body worked up, you might have that same response to getting COVID, right? But there was no discussion about it.
But going back to that, the, you know, localized conglomerate of like California and Oregon and whatever the other two states were talking about, they're going to take their own recommendations. Washington. I mean, that's problematic on a lot of levels, right? I mean, it's good because it's something to fight back against a government that's not, you know, requiring this stuff. But even their own statement said, you know, something about, it was qualified, like based on, they wouldn't point to who they would follow the recommendations of, because if you're really following the recommendations of the scientists, we'd be masking now. Masking would be mandated in a lot of public places. And we know they're not going to go back to that. So they need to find a source that's like just in line with capitalism enough. But, you know, at least we get our kids vaccinated on basic shit like measles to go to school. But, you know, it's not going to be enough. And libs are going to like trumpet it as a huge win. And the problem is, again, even if say this group on the left that includes California and these liberal lefty states want to implement something that makes sense, like masks, for example,
right?
The economic impact on the states that do that versus, you know, you need to make it a national policy, or else there's states that, you know, put some of these policies forward they're going to take a hit, you know, and that's going to keep them from doing it, is my point. Like, that's why you need it on a national level. That's why we have a CDC just to begin with.
Yeah, because as soon as you take away mandates or even suggestions, like, I mean, honestly, what's amazing to me, California just put out suggestion that if you are traveling or sharing air in a public space, you should wear not just a mask, but a respirator, like an N95, a KN95.
I think
Now,
it's the first time they recommended N95s.
like 2020, we're in our 6th year and they're finally talking about it. And by the way,
because
like,
even at the height of all of it, the pandemic, I mean, we're still in it as almost at the height right now. So forget about that language. Sorry. But even at the height of the public believing we were in it is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The hospitals were giving out baggy blues.
Yeah.
Which is just absurd. You know, we know an N95 is what you really need to stop COVID. I mean, yeah,
Any
baggy blue
variant.
helps a little bit.
Yeah.
But
they're not variant specific. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly frustrating. And yeah, of course, like, this is worse. Like, RFK Jr. is worse than Rochelle Walensky, I guess. I mean, yes, he is, because that's the way it works, right? Like, that's the whole ratchet effect. So then you're like, oh, we just want people who at least make a nod toward science on some level. But meanwhile, you know, she and Lena Wen and all of those, Shah, their kids go to fancy private schools with purified air, good ventilation, much smaller classrooms. Like, so they're not having to deal with what most people whose kids are going to public schools, or people who have to go into work where it's frowned upon if you wear a mask or you try to protect yourself. And that was a bipartisan effort to destroy public health. And they have done it.
And obviously they're, you know, when you have money, you're going to get the best treatment as fast as possible.
Right.
You know, look, if you're super rich and you get long COVID, you're just as fucked as everybody, though. Don't get me wrong, like, for the most part. But, you know, you can withstand the economic impact of not having to work, you know, these families, where that's why you'll see the highest percentage of maskers are frontline workers and lower economic classes, because, you know, like, if I was out for 2 weeks, it would really fuck me over.
Yeah. I mean, of course it would. And yeah, no paid sick leave. They canceled all, like, this was under Biden, the OSHA requirements to protect workers were all jettisoned. All right. So here is the, you know, paradigm of health, RFK Jr. talking about what he can detect with his science eyes.
And I know what a healthy child is supposed to look like. I'm looking at kids as I walk through the airports today, as I walk down the street, and I see these kids that are just overburdened with mitochondrial challenges, with inflammation. You can tell from their faces, from their body movements, and from their lack of social connection. And I know that that's not how our children are supposed to look.
Did we show that on Sunday? We might have.
I don't know, but, like, seriously, are the mitochondria in the room with us right now? Like, you're seeing these mitochondria, like, okay, if we're judging kids on their appearance in public, I'm looking at you with your crackly voice and your 80-year-old wrinkles, and you're what, 65 or something?
Yeah.
You know, like, I see somebody who's mentally not fit, based on your appearance and that voice, you know, that could mean you're not, I don't know, you've eaten some food that didn't have, you know, it had some cancerous shit in it, or so. He's just making shit up. This guy's in charge of our public health, who's firing every scientist that ever is around every field. Like, I'm losing my mind with this guy. Like, he's the worst of it all, and the left should be fighting him so fucking hard, and they're not, because they want to embrace going back to work and going back to bars and all this shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah. They either want to do that, or when it comes to the other vaccines, because they've lost the plot so much anyway, they look, Pat, you're getting some love here. I just want to make sure you don't think it's one-sided when I put up things.
Lila, don't cut my mic again.
I know, it snaps and crackles. Yeah. So who did they just put in touch here? What's his name? Oh, Jim O'Neill, who's an anti-vaxxer, his top deputy, JFK's top deputy, will be the acting CDC director. And this is just his own private chip on his shoulder because there have been some illnesses and possibly even reactions to vaccinations, or that's what he's decided it's because of. But I also feel like, I was thinking about this the other day, like when we were younger, was there so much care about every half generation? Like Gen X. Okay, yes, we were Gen X. There was like Gen X and the boomers, and then the greatest generation. But like it was like 25-year chunks, right? Now they've got everybody so sort of balkanized, right? It's like Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, millennials, Gen Alpha, and everybody has a problem and they're always looking at their phone and they can't think properly. And it's because of the lockdowns. And it just feels like a huge psyop to me, because the truth is, like, my kids will teach me a card game and like they get it right away, no matter what. Like, their brains are working fast and hard. They are way more aware of fake media, right? Like, there is a savviness to them. And I'm not saying everybody's like this, but like also, oh, everybody gets a trophy. I don't know what anybody who talks about it that way is talking about. My kids got benched more than, or just as much as anybody. I'm not saying they're really good athletes, but like, there was no like, oh, you showed up. I mean, yeah, at the end of the whole season, there was a party, a pizza party, and everybody got like a little thing. But like, if you wanted to actually play, you had to work your fucking ass off from the time you were 5. Like, like, I don't like, to me, this feels like it's just another way to divide everybody. Yeah.
All right. I don't want to get canceled here, but in fairness, like, there is some, I think the generation that was the trophy generation might be a little younger than your kids.
Right.
Might be. Because like my girlfriend was a teacher, a 7th grade teacher 7 years ago, something like that. And honestly, they were super participation. They participation trophied your grades. Like, it was really frightening to me how
I know
like
what you're talking
you couldn't
about. Yeah.
criticize, you
Like
know,
the
yeah,
cheat
you're not
sheet.
wrong, but
Yeah.
you're wrong. You know, tell someone they're wrong. I was really disturbed hearing about how a lot of the policies that were pushed to her to teach really kind of rubbed me wrong.
I understand that. And now that you're talking about that, I do remember that. I think it was because I was not one of those parents. So like, you know, everybody would like stand outside the room waiting for your first grader to come out, and the parents would start like kibitzing and like, oh, I hear Miss Alberts is a real screamer. And I was like, good, I hope so. Like, if my kid's doing something wrong, fucking scream at him. Like, I don't care. That's fine. You know, if he did something wrong. But yes, there was a lot of that. And, you know, but here's the other thing that felt wildly unfair, is because schools have been so defunded. Like, I had to be a room parent in public school every single year of my kids, you know, from being in preschool all the way through 8th grade. Always a room parent, always a teen parent, always having to show up to do extra. And so like, that was asked of and sort of required of most families, if at all possible. And I feel like that's really unfortunate, because it shouldn't be like that. We should fund our schools well enough that this is like the realm of the teachers,
Yeah.
right? And not where parents are always there.
The thing about that is, it just shows how fucked our priorities are in this country, because for as long as I've been alive, I mean, my dad was a teacher in high school. He was a junior high and then a high school teacher. So I've been around the teaching world, and teachers have foot the bill for all their own.
Yeah.
You know, a good teacher is spending a lot of their own money on their classrooms, it's been a fight forever, is my point. It's like, and the public has known about this forever and never prioritized it. We've never changed the government to take care of teachers better than we do.
Yeah. It's disgusting. It's all disgusting, but it all just feels, again, like, because I understand what you're saying, and I did see that. So now I'm like correcting myself, but I also feel like, you know, they always want to have it every which way. Like, we need parents here, we need money. And, you know, like, my kids were in public schools, and a lot of people did not have money, but also the teachers didn't have money. So then, you know, like at a public school, I could be like 100-air and be like, you know what, I'm going to buy everybody books for this term, whatever, it's fine. You know, like we're just going to do it. Because what I hated doing was having to talk to the other room parents about any financial decision. I was like, I will just charge it. I cannot have another committee meeting. But here's the thing is that even when teachers complained, like the stakes were pretty high. So like, okay, then when you go to middle school, if you don't do well enough, if you don't get into the advanced program, then you're in a different program at middle school. Then you're not going to get into a certain program in
you're already
high school.
tracked.
And then it's like, they're bigger consequences, I think, than what we like. When I was younger, it was just like you just went to your public school through high school and you worked. You know, I don't know. But again, it just feels a lot like the division in this country, which I don't think is as divided as the people in power love to tell us we're also divided. Sorry, you can talk now.
No, and I don't think largely when it comes to schools, we're very divided either. I mean, we're divided on some of the education because there's Christian right that thinks you're teaching all this, you know, lefty garbage, you know, about pronouns and but take that part out of it. And if our country wanted to care about kids, we know a couple things that really will help our kids be better humans, be better at school. One, you start the work day later, the school day later, because kids' brains, they don't wake up. They're not ready to go. They need a longer night's sleep. So starting them at 8 o'clock at school, it should be like 10 o'clock for, you know, the science is clear on this, right? That's one thing. Two, they should have clean air. They should have oxygen, which is why
you don't think they should be getting reinfected with a immune
but just in an oxygen rich environment, which most schools don't provide, you by default are dumbing kids down and they're less attentive and their memory is not going to work as well. And so if you just implemented that, you would also get COVID protections because a rich CO2 rich environment helps kill COVID and airborne COVID, right? So that's another thing. The third thing, fucking feed them. Kids, you got so many hungry kids in school.
You don't think lunch debt is a good thing?
When they're fucking hungry. But everybody agrees on that stuff if you tell them in the right way. Nobody's like, oh, fuck those kids. Let's not feed kids at school. Except for
lunch debt. Imagine lunch debt being a thing. I mean, it's all just disgusting. It's all, of course, capitalist driven, and it's a death cult. And yes, they don't care about making Americans healthier again, or kids healthier, or giving us any of the things that we need. And RFK Jr., just like Trump, is just like the natural progression of where both, you know, capitalist parties have taken us over the past 50 years.
We're bringing back mocking the kids that can't do pull-ups, you know.
Watching Hegseth and RFK Jr. not able to lift themselves up in their big promo videos. That was insane in their jeans. You know, this is the other thing that I just do not understand why so many institutions are bowing down to Trump so easily and quickly. Like the lack of institutional solidarity really is instructive on where these places, what they value, right? Like Columbia capitulates, all the Ivies pretty much, Harvard fought it sorta, and they've just won a smaller legal battle. But, the Smithsonian taking down certain exhibits that Trump, offended his sensibilities because America's always been great or whatever. Now the Holocaust Museum is doing the same thing. They are temporarily closing an exhibit that shows how the U.S. turned away Jewish refugees during World War II. I mean, this is scary times. The AI, the fake news, the chaos, the division in a functioning society, the Smithsonian, the Holocaust Museum. I mean, God, it was like a year ago, or I guess it wasn't that long ago because Trump's only been in power since January. But at the beginning of the year, remember the Big Ten, like Rutgers and a few other schools said, hey, we should really band together to fight against what they were seeing was happening that Trump was doing to Columbia and Harvard, right? And then crickets. I don't even know what happened. Like, CUNY, SUNY, the California state schools, like they've all just folded pretty much. So now you get something where, and like I think I've probably told the story before, but my grandfather was head of an organization called HIAS that helped relocate Jews during and after the war. He and his younger brother would get into crazy fights. They wouldn't talk for months. This was one of their fights because his brother did not want to believe that FDR turned away a boat of refugees with thousands of Jewish families who were escaping Nazi Germany and sent them right back. That happened. And now, just like slavery, it makes some of the whites feel uncomfortable. And so we're going to just scrape that from our history and pretend that that we're this like glorious, infallible country.
It's completely disgusting. Obviously, the whole thing is whitewashing, and we're just pretending that white people did no harm ever. So it's, let's not focus on the things that happened. And I think what you said earlier is important. Like, we're not seeing institutional pushback, and I would have thought we'd have had more of that. Like, we're just now seeing a little bit of it at the CDC.
Yeah.
But what's going to become of it? There's not enough. Like, I don't know. I mean, I would have thought we had more resistance in some of these groups to some of the evil shit. Like the Smithsonian caving is pretty
insanity.
That's just like, and
the Holocaust Museum. I mean, obviously the Holocaust Museum is
the Holocaust Museum I get because of the connection to Israel and how it's gross, obviously. But it's not shocking to me. But like Smithsonian, like how do they not stand by that? They have access to so much funding from people who just, every rich person that dies throws Smithsonian a grant,
the philanthropy whitewashing of their actual service to humanity. Yeah, it's and as much as like I'm very appreciative that California, Oregon, Washington want to continue and possibly invite in other states who want to trust the science and veer away from what the federal government is doing, but I feel like the safeguards, like that also makes me a little nervous. On the flip side, I mean, yes, do it now. I want them to do all of that stuff now. But like where, for a party, the Democrats, who's always talking about safeguarding democracy, they've done absolutely nothing to ensure that we have a thriving democracy, whether it's money in politics, whether it's actually believing the science, whether it's forcing politicians to have transparency, to have debates, town halls, whatever it is, like, there's no safeguarding of anything. So, I'm happy when sort of anecdotally a state does something that, is preferable to whatever's happening in Alabama and Florida. But like that that's so piecemeal. It feels so impermanent and like you just can't trust that anything. I don't know. There has to be a better path to carve that helps us move forward as a nation, and the people in power do not care to try to make that happen on any level at all.
No, and whatever gets implemented or suggested there is going to be a bill that we all pay. The states are going to pay. It's not going to be federally funded. Like, if California follows a rule that's not supported by the federal government, as California, we're like the fourth now biggest economy in the world, I think. So yeah, we can afford to do it, but it doesn't mean they're not going to raise our taxes to do it. And, which is not going to exacerbate a lot of the problems here, but
yeah, they're not going to raise our taxes. If Gavin Newsom remains governor, he has no interest in raising his pals' taxes. He's just going to throw those homeless people's every last possession away on camera.
But it does come back to like what you're saying, and we're going to have like states' rights issues. So why don't we just go back to some states have slavery and some don't? Like some states we feed the kids and some we don't. Like, we're not progressing. We're going so backwards here now.
It's really terrifying.
It gives the Democrats permission to be like, well, we're in a purple state, so we don't want to feed the kids in a state like this.
Jesus. And yeah, Brett Boyle, that is true. I don't know if this specifically was the FDR turning away the boat, but I do know that early Zionists, when the UK offered to take in thousands of Polish and German Jewish children, the Zionists said they would rather have them die than go anywhere but Israel, Palestine, because they needed to build Israel. So it was better to have people be slaughtered by Nazis, because then that gave more of a reason for Israel to exist, which is a horrifying fact to learn and know, but it makes perfect sense when you see what Israel is. Okay, I have the craziest video of Trump, but who the fuck cares? It's his 11th. Maybe we'll get to it another time, because I don't think we can do much more. Do you want to talk? Wait, should we spin? And then, because we still have a little bit of Zoran, we have a little bit of Pacman, and then we have Israel.
Let's
So
spin
should we
and get back so I can re-beer.
Okay,
this is important
for
stuff.
sure. Rebearing is important. I always have my bottle of wine right next to me, but you have a steep learning curve. Where are you going to go to get your beer?
Yeah, baby.
Perfect.
There you go.
Okay, I'm closing, and then wait. Sorry, let me just. This is the problem with this one, is that I have to close it and then.
Yeah, baby.
You like to get.
Wait, what'd you say, Pat?
Oh, I like the sound. The yeah, baby.
There's something just like a little jazzier about this old school one, but I like the new one too. But we're just,
It's a toss up because we picked some of the things there.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go with Lost Faith. It's a short one. Oh wait,
Okay.
no, it was wholesome. It was wholesome.
Wholesome as fuck. Yeah.
Never mind. Damn it.
Yeah, we have rules.
I'm gonna just curveball it and show the Lost Faith one because I want to.
All right, I like it.
If you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands. If you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands. If you've lost faith in humanity, and this is your villain origin story, if you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands.
Wait, what was I watching? What is that? What just happened? Who is that?
Someone just put the little screaming into the pillow thing to the soundtrack of.
But who's the person that says Aaron Paulson? What's that?
I think he's Aaron Paulson.
Oh,
I'm guessing, and he's just like, follow me because I'm Eric Paulson.
Got it.
It's not part of the joke.
Scream in my pillow every moment of every day. So I am there for that. I just wasn't sure if I was missing out on something the kids were talking about.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Well, maybe I'm missing it too. Maybe we're the butt of the joke, Lila.
Maybe that's it.
You're that old.
Yeah. House of Pain. It is definitely House of Pain. Everybody else seems to have gotten it much better.
Insane in the Membrane, right?
Insane in the Membrane. Jump Around? No, that's not Jump Around.
Yeah. No, that's jump around. Something like that.
Pat does need a mini fridge connection, but I think his actual fridge is pretty close to him.
I do. I just reorganized here a while ago, but I actually, when I was on a different wall, I was right next to my fridge, and I actually undid the door and reversed it so I could just open the door backwards. I haven't changed it back because I got used to opening the doors backwards, but
all right,
nothing I do over here makes any damn sense.
You the way you suffer for your art.
For the art, for the lefty audience.
That's right.
We have.
All right, let's just move quickly into. So I have not given up on Zoran. How are you feeling?
That was wrong.
Cypress Hill, Insane in the Membrane. So that was Jump Around, right? That was
Insane. That song was Cypress Hill.
It was.
Right? I think.
I thought it was those two
It's
Chris's.
25th. Correct us. I don't know.
Whatever. All right. You know, because my kids are so super competitive about everything. So the fun of karaoke is that you sing together. My voice is horrible, but I love singing. And the words are right there for people who don't always know the words to their absolute favorite songs. But they're like, let's play a game. You turn around, we pick a song that we know you know really well, and you have to sing it without looking at the words and all by yourself. So all of a sudden, like, honestly, that's completely like antithetical to what karaoke is supposed to be. And I sucked at it, but it was fun. But they both, like, it didn't matter what we chose. They basically knew all the words without even looking. It's crazy.
Wow.
I think my brain.
That does sound actually super fun if you're all lubricated correctly.
We always are lubricated pretty well, pretty heavily in this house, no matter what. If it's 5 o'clock, the juices are running. Okay.
Karaoke, what's your karaoke go to? Because mine is Jesus Christ, I forgot. Tell me yours and I'll remember.
Okay, so this is my all-time favorite. So anything Prince, but it's like incredibly difficult to sing, obviously, even if I were a good singer. Anything Prince, Elton John, I love, you know, Don't Stop Believin' is fun. And then, you know, Beatles, anything from that, you know, that 4 chords show that montage that we've shown before. Those guys, they're like a comedic band, but they do 4 chords, and they show how like basically every great song in the history of great songs is, you know, comes from the same 4 chords. So when I have very little vocal range, but when it's basically like those 4 chords, those are easier ones for me.
You know, it's a safe range.
So like Let It Be is a good one. And then of course I love anything from like Fame. I love, but I'm horrible at it, but I love it. How about you?
Gotcha. I just remembered. I don't know what it's called, but it's by the Van Halen guy, David Lee Roth, I think.
Yeah.
I ain't got nobody.
All right.
Because you don't have to sing, you know, and especially if you're you're just belting out into the mic. So that's like a safe.
Exactly. That's a good one. That's good. All right. Everybody's saying jump around. Sorry, I'm just going back to this. Jump around, jump around, jump around. House of Pain.
Important stuff we're covering here.
Yeah, super important. We're taking a little bit of a break from the horrors. Okay, let's go back to Zoran. Do you want to show like his latest thing?
Yeah, you were talking about how you still have faith in him, and I'm with you on it. I'm still rooting for him, and
I'm rooting for him.
He fails.
Yeah, like
when he fails, he fails
100%. But like for right now, I'm rooting for him because I like the things that he says. Also, I like how upset it's making Wall Street and the dumb power brokers.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So I love all that. I'd love if Lena Khan got into the mix to run for Congress. How awesome would that be? I hope that there is some sort of solidarity between him and Graham Plattner and Omar Fatah, right? But like, you know, and they're going to come out with things. Listen, I don't know enough about Graham Plattner. I like the things that he is saying now. If he fights for them, I will be thrilled about it. I don't love that he worked for Eric Prince's mercenary company and went on several, military engagements. But like,
what gives me hope with him is that, like I said, I was just over at my parents doing electrical work yesterday.
Yeah.
Because I'm such a good kid, and but
ladies,
my dad,
you got a nice guy right here. Yeah.
My parents are a good barometer for me on how shit libs are thinking, because they're not really shit libs, but they are raised on CNN and MSNBC.
Shit lib adjacent.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're adjacent. They'll believe every leftist thing that I say to them.
Right.
And think we should have them, but they're so scared of Trump, they will always fall in line. And like, you know, it's always about Trump.
Hillary's plan worked.
It's about Trump first. Right. So, but my dad, while I'm working, asked me, what do you think about that Fisher guy? The guy who's a fisherman or whatever. And he was talking about Plattner because he's a clamor, you know?
Yeah. Oyster.
And so for him to even know who he is wild to me.
Yeah. That's cool. I mean, that makes me happy. It does,
right? So I was
especially
like, okay.
yeah. So, like, okay, before we show the Zoran ad, here is the progressive governor of the progressive state of California, the fourth largest economy in the world, who is, ambling towards a presidential candidacy, talking with that Kara Swisher lib lady. And the way he does that horseshoe theory and conflates the far left with the far right is exactly. Thank you. Thanks, revolutionary. Revolutionarily. I like it. Thank you.
That's really nice. I never thought about that. We should maybe say, like, we should ask for somebody to repost it mid show because it might help us a little bit.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for that. Cheers.
Yeah, thank you. That's very cool. So here's Newsom managing or doing his best to crush any movement from his left.
The hostility to him is quite high, correct?
Yeah, of course. Of course, because of
why
some
is
of his,
that?
well, for obvious reasons, some of his views. And there's a lot of anxiety around those views. And they could be on issues related to domestic policy as it relates to, socializing, grocery stores, et cetera. It could be on national policy.
Trump Intel, the comparison is very obvious that you just made.
Yeah, no,
correct.
And we need to make that point over and over and over. I mean, I remember, wasn't Jeff Bezos out there yelling and screaming that Biden doesn't understand, capitalism? I mean, this guy is completely perverted capitalism, Donald Trump. It's crony capitalism. It's whatever, you pay him off, give him a phone call. I mean, these illegal tariffs, which we're also in court on, all the things that are happening in this country, it's just perverse that they could be shaping the Democratic Party in the context of the socialist brand, when in fact, this guy is the leading nationalist and socialist of our time, Donald Trump.
Nationalist socialism is not socialism. Like, yeah, don't connect the dots, dude. You're connecting the dots at your own party's, harm. Like, people like socialism, fucker.
Yeah. And how does he go from, she's saying people aren't liking, like, basically, thanks, Kitty. Thank you so much. Going from talking about how Trump is so unpopular, and I don't know what that whole show is because I don't know what her thing is. But like, my thought is Trump is wildly unpopular. The only thing more unpopular than Trump is the Democratic Party. And instead of addressing that and the fact that Democrats aren't fighting for anything, and instead they're just chasing after the same Wall Street capitalist billionaire ghouls as Democrats, as Republicans, while also doing a genocide and trying to close borders and not doing anything to help anybody in our country. He does a pivot and talks about socializing grocery stores out of the blue. Like, that was his first response to her talking about Trump, and then goes and is like, and then the Democrats could do that and start doing these socialist policies. Oh my God. I despise him at such a deep level, but like, I don't think that I think he's going to have a Kamala Beto run. What do you think?
He's going to get wrecked. Look,
yeah.
The one thing he's good at, he's good at speeches. He can give some Obama-like answers. So he's not going to be caught off guard as much as Kamala. He's like 10,000 times the politician Kamala is. So that part,
right.
And he's not going to do Beto. He's not going to jump up on a desk and scream and do some stupid shit like that.
Like,
right.
Suck Charlie Kirk's balls on his first episode of his thing. But yeah.
But that's what I was going to say is like, his viewers are not stupid. Like, we know he just was like, he's telling us the danger of the party aligning right after just talking to Charlie Kirk, and his whole vibe is like he's trying to align to win over the right, like, but in a way that's not like he's normalizing the right. He's normalizing all the things that Trump did, and now he's running for office and getting libs to support him by being Trump. It's so Trumpian as a joke, but
like his memes and all of his ridiculous like cap
it's going to be so short-lived,
Yeah.
right? Because first off, all that stuff on social media, it's not even him. It's just
Right.
a created, fabricated, groupthink on how to beat Trump, and a couple interns are doing it for him, kind of thing. So it's not even him. It's just branding. And when you're slick back him who talks to Charlie Kirk on his show and normalizes Republicans, like that shit ain't gonna fly anymore. We see you fucking clearing homeless encampments. Like you're a villain,
Proudly,
dude.
like
You're a
proudly.
villain. And he nationally, look, California knows him. We don't like him, but like nationally, his brand with the Mr. Wall Street look is not going to fly in purple states and red states.
Out of touch. Like, it's crazy.
It's silly to think that this guy could be the guy. He's not the guy.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I would say that because I think that's true. I can't stand him. I think most of California can't stand him every time he talks. But I think there's a little bit of this that Lori's saying. Libs love him because he says bad things about Trump, and that's all it takes.
Right.
And because they think
Which
he's
is true, but
handsome and
that's how you end up.
well-spoken. Yeah.
But that's how you end up the nominee who loses, right? We know.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Is like
That's the
you
Hillary.
get behind this guy because we got the lib support,
Right.
forgetting about the progressive support, forgetting about the centrist support, forgetting about all elections are decided on voter turnout, which is enthusiasm.
Yeah.
If you're not a lib, you're not going to be enthusiastic for this guy.
Yeah.
So that's how you lose elections.
Yeah.
He's the formula to lose the election.
Imagine California going red if he becomes the nominee. But I thought, like, this is the smart tactic to take if you are a politician who cares about left policies and the people of your city, like where you actually care about the things you're talking about.
Labor Day might be over, but the democracy clearance sale is still on through November. We're selling candidates, we're selling access, we're selling tax breaks, we're selling New York City, and everything must go.
Or at least that's what the billionaires think. After their guy got wiped out in the Democratic primary in June, they spent all summer trying to figure out who could beat us in the general. And boy, did my opponents give it their best shot. Cuomo was out in the Hamptons pitching his alliance with Trump. Adams sold us out to MAGA months ago. And
Curtis Sliwa says that feral cats are the solution.
And after all this, these three guys still don't know who'll make the best gesture for Trump. That's why, this month, I'm gonna let them get to the bottom of it, at whichever unofficial debates they do. And I wish you guys the best in your auditions. Seriously. And I'm looking forward to getting back in the ring to do the 2 official ones in October as your Democratic nominee. Those are debates sponsored by the Campaign Finance Board. In the meantime, I won't be at this televised circus. I'll continue to take this campaign to you. We'll be bringing town halls directly to New Yorkers struggling to afford their city, rallying them around an agenda to lower the cost of living. And I'll see these guys on the debate stage in October.
I mean, because they are all working on some level with Trump, and all the people who support them are working on some level.
Yeah. And I was going to bring up what Jay just mentioned in the chat. Trump is openly talking about finding Adams a job when he's out of office. Like,
Adams welcomed his
Democrat
ICE forces into New York City so that
in lieu of
so he wouldn't be prosecuted for his corruption charges with the Turkish government. I mean, yeah.
Which is why, like, if you're the Democratic Party trying to prop up either Cuomo or Adams, holy fuck, you're harming the Democratic brand nationally over a guy you cannot stop. He's going to fucking win. You're cooked on that level. Stop.
I mean, the fact that Schumer and Jeffries still are saying nothing, but I'm sure they're on background talking to Politico about how we're worried what the effect's going to be of Mamdani if he wins. Meanwhile, you could be talking about things like what friend of show Stephen Semler just his not news. What is it? Not newscast. Oh my
Substack.
God, my brain. Substack. Thank you. Economic insecurity, right? Worsened from 2019 to 2024. Financial well-being, overdraft fees, fluctuations in income, difficulty paying bills, all go up. Economic anxiety remains far above pre-pandemic levels. not being able to make minimum credit card payments. Oh, hello. It's like they see me. I'm right here. Not being able to pay rent or mortgage, once again. Not being able to maintain a living standard. I mean, my wine, but that's pretty much it.
Right.
And then this came out also today, is that more people are unemployed than there are job openings for the first time since April 2021. So the economy sucks. The way to fix it is with these universal leftist policies.
Yeah.
And no Democrat, apart from like the three candidates we've talked about, Mamdani, Omar Fatah, and Plattner, like they don't talk about that. They talk about Trump is a fascist buffoon. Yes, he is, but like that is it.
I think where they fail is that they're thinking nationally for a local election where all those feelings, the economic impacts of all this policy for the last 20 years, we're paying now, right? So everyone's suffering now, cost of living, everything's higher, can't afford an apartment, can't buy a house, all that stuff. But where they're fucked is like you could use that to spin people somewhat nationally, but in California and in New York, it's exacerbated tenfold because it's so expensive to live in these places.
That's right.
So that message of like that they're spitting out nationally, it's not going to work on the people in New York who are most oppressed by this policy, more so than even, most regular states are not nearly as fucked by this stuff than California and New York.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I agree. And I do think that they know that this is all just a messaging campaign for them. They know what people want. Of course they know. We talk about this all the time. They know what people want. Overwhelmingly popular to have a dignified wage, to end the genocide, to have universal health care, free public college, and on and on. How about a climate that we can all breathe in that doesn't kill 10 million people? I mean, like every time I read that statistic, it blows me away. 10 million people die every year because of air pollution.
But hey, look, Cuomo got rid of a few rats. He had a whole tweet with a video the other day about are the rats, there's less rats in New York now, which is that your PR message to the world about New York? Is that it's this rat infested, it's a stereotype, but it's probably true. But still,
yeah, I mean, anywhere
that's your message.
Yeah. Yeah. And also the other thing is because that quickly, but that talk sort of quickly turns to people. He's not, again, not talking about broad policies. He's talking about getting the infestations out. And then it's well, this guy is oh God, we pulled it. And then there was something. Do you remember? Cuomo said something about Mamdani not being against Hamas rape because rape is okay in his culture. That was this summer. I need to find it. I'm going to find it the next time I show a video. But
what it reminds me of, which is what you were leading to, is Democrats doing something about ticket pricing. Surge pricing on tickets. Well, hey, how about healthcare and the economy? But thank you for doing something about people that can afford to go to a concert and not getting ticket surcharges.
Or the bag of chips that's not filled all the way to the top. Which again,
now the bag of chips in New York is filled with a bribe straight from
$3,000 of cash.
Yeah.
Okay.
We covered that a week ago. But.
So speaking of messaging, sorry, I want to just make sure that I'm not missing anything. And if I do, I apologize. But okay. So we talked about this whole Brian Tyler Cohn chorus incubator creator cohort. It's like the McKinsey-ification of every single vocabulary word. And the real, weak sauce is actually too gentle, because that one Allie O'Brien, who was the one they trotted out because she is sort of on the left and talks about Palestinian rights and against Israel's genocide. And she was like, I get to say whatever I want. And then, you know, licked the boots and polished the boots of the corporate overlords just because she, you know, manages to have her own version of free speech, but uses it to justify these horrendous people. Anyway, David Pakman, who already has to be a millionaire based on his YouTube subscribers and all that kind of stuff.
Somebody mentioned multimillionaire for sure. So I know he's many, many millions.
So like, he doesn't have to denigrate himself or compromise if he has integrity. He doesn't have to compromise it by taking those $8,000 a month. But so now this is his like, he just keeps incriminating himself also. Yeah.
And before we play it, just to remind people, their defense of the $8,000 for people was that we're teaching them how to grow their podcasts.
Ring lights.
Yeah, we're teaching them how to do their lighting right. We're teaching, like, this guy's making millions off his podcast for being a fucking shitlib already.
Yeah.
He doesn't need, like, it's just a handout of cash. It's an envelope of cash and a bag of chips.
That it seems to work. And also the other thing that she said that was really disingenuous or dishonest, not dishonest, was this sort of like identity politics thing of like, oh, the only reason we have to show our content to the Chorus Dark Money funded group is because, you know, we do have some people who are trans or who are Black or brown in red states, and we just want to protect them. Like, what are you talking about? Like, they signed up to be creators, and you're saying on the same time that they're trying to amplify their voices, they also want anonymity.
Yeah, we want to protect the people. We want to get in front of the most people as possible by not getting them in front of people at all. Like, the messages don't jive. They don't jive. It's hot garbage.
It's really repellent that she took to her whatever TikTok space to defend this. But anyway, here's David Pakman talking about how wait, that's his first name, right? David? Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's not really litigious, but.
Well, I hate to start a show like this, but I do have to talk today about a defamation lawsuit. After Wired published a piece last week that made a number of untrue allegations and implications about me and other creators, claiming I'm taking money in exchange for letting someone dictate the content of this show or restrict what I'm talking about, and many other claims and implications. A whole bunch of you wrote to me and said, David, are you going to sue for defamation? Suing for defamation and winning is really the way to take control back and to prove that you didn't do the things you're accused of. Now, it's a fair question, and I want to talk about that today. I didn't even plan on mentioning this entire fiasco again, but it really has taken on a life of its own. Over the last few days, I've consulted with some of the top defamation attorneys in the country, lawyers who have won some of the largest verdicts, I think, in U.S. history. And I've been advised this could take 6 figures in legal fees just to get to the end without even a guarantee of getting the money back, right? I am not litigious by nature. I think all of you know that. I've never sued anybody. It would be stressful. It would be time consuming.
Okay. Then this second part is very short. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I offer some legal advice as someone who was, I was a legal secretary and file clerk, so I know everything about this, but no, honestly, look, he's right about, for a lot of people, they don't realize how much your personal life is going to be involved if you sue, and how much personal time and how much exposure there is, right? So that part you can give some credibility to, right? Like, I don't want to, I didn't realize how much it would involve me being actually in the case, right? But it's not going to be $100,000 out of pocket. These lawsuits, plaintiff's cases are based on, if we win the case, I'm going to get 10% of your judgment. Especially if you're dealing with something high profile, and especially if you're talking to the nation's most prolific money finders on the plaintiff's side. Like, so he's full of shit on that. Like, somebody will take his case for free based on, I'm going to get 10% of the payout that you get from your judgment, or whatever terms they come up. So that is a complete lie. That part, that's like a fabrication. if somebody gave him that advice and they're one of these top firms, they're saying you have no case. So since you have clearly no case, I want some fucking money.
Yeah. I mean, truly. And yeah, I think that he's going to beg for donations probably. Right.
He is. And look, the reality of why he doesn't want to do this, it opens up discovery, which leads to the documents that prove he's owned by the donors of the Democratic Party. So he will never file his case, or will never get to the discovery phase.
Yeah. Which again, just, yes, all of it. I mean, I never really watched him, but I do think that there's a cohort of people who go to him for information or opinion or whatever, and they probably believe that he had some modicum of integrity, and this is and should be wildly humiliating, right? So here,
right. And this is to placate them. That's right. That's it.
Yeah,
that's why
I'm fighting. I do have integrity, and all of this is a smear campaign.
Yeah, stop it.
Some creators in the first 48 hours took the Wired story and expanded it with even more outrageous claims, suggesting that it's AIPAC or IPAC. I don't even know how it's pronounced. IPAC that is funding this show or other creators. Of course, not true. That the DNC is involved. Not true.
Wait, how do you say it? AIPAC or IPAC? He's never heard of either one, and yet his brother was a regional head of the ADL. AIPAC? IPAC? Not sure. Never heard of it. What are you talking about?
Just being, if you're in the media and you're pretending you don't know how to pronounce AIPAC after 2 years of genocide, like, Ron, I mean, that video alone gives the game away. The guy's full of shit.
I mean, that, like, the fact that he was allowed, does he have anybody around him to help him? Like, that's crazy.
I don't feel like he has anyone. It feels like it's just him.
They've just like sent him out on a nice float.
Maybe a roommate he's giving a free rent to, who's doing the streaming or something.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like he has a staff.
All right. I'm sorry, because I feel like I'm hoping that I am. Oh my goodness. There's one bug. Did you see the plague is back? The plague is back in California, and also Chagas virus or something where you don't even know you have it, but it comes through flies. And there was just one little fly. They love me because of my wine blood. Thank you, Kimmy. Super sticker $4.99. Thank you so much. That's right, the black cat. That was a cool video. I liked it. All right. Anything else Dem oriented?
Dem stuff.
I mean, so Kaniela Ng, who was I don't know that he still is a politician in Hawaii. He was a Bernie person years ago, progressive Hawaiian, politician sounds like a smear, and I don't mean that, but he was like and I don't know that he was a community organizer, so I don't want to say anything any which way, but he was running for, I think, Congress a few years ago. Anyway, there was like a cross-cultural awareness, and he goes, I think this is in South Carolina, but we'll see in a second. But like blue state, red state, none of that matters. What matters is what we are doing to our economy, to our land, and to our working class people. And again, I know we all know that is the solution to our problems, but I just feel, and I mean, obviously you do too, like anytime we can highlight that those messages are out there and that Democratic power brokers are choosing every day to ignore the plight of our people is just, I don't know. It just feels like another piece of evidence to show what could be happening and what isn't. Because again, I don't think that this country is so divided. I know that the people in power love to push that narrative, but I have to, like, that is my hope. Because I think when you talk to people, you break it down. Yeah.
Even if you say we're divided and we're just going to stay divided, if you just focus on issue by issue, who cares if we're divided? But we want healthcare, so that's all that matters.
Right.
Us and the KKK want healthcare. Fine, that's fine. Let's get healthcare.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I want the KKK guy to speak at my rally, but the country does agree on the issues, and Lila is right again.
Lila's right.
1000%.
Listen, there are some people who are never going to be reachable, and I have not convinced anybody in my own in real life circle. Like, I don't have arguments with them anymore because they all defriended me. No, but because it didn't matter. Like the data points didn't matter. They are part of a cult. They want to believe that we have a democracy and people voted for what they wanted, and they didn't vote for Bernie, and it doesn't matter that people were thrown off the rolls, that poor people were forced to stand in long lines. If they had really wanted it, they would have gone, all of that kind of shit, because they are part of a cult and they do not want to believe what the Democrats have been argued in court, that we do not have a democracy and we get to choose, and we are going to throw people off the rolls, and we are going to put the person in we want, and we are going to super delegate our way out of it. And this is not a democracy. Democrats in court argued that. There are people who will not move from their ignorant positions. So you can't argue with them. But when you're just talking with regular people like that, people need a living wage. They need to be able to live in a home. They need to be able to feed their families, send their kids to schools that are safe. Those things are across the board. I don't know.
No, it really is. It's you're a 49er fan, I'm a Raider fan, for example, right? Right. We hate each other, and that's how it's just going to be.
Raiders are way better. No, I'm kidding. I don't know anything about it. I'm totally joking.
But can we just can we have healthy food at the games? Can we have ticket prices cheaper? Can we can agree that's what it comes down to. Keep the other issues where they are. Who cares?
Yeah.
We'll change minds occasionally, but the things we agree on are healthcare, school, feeding kids, being able to buy a house, rent being affordable, daycare, affordable daycare for people. As
Even
much as they spin that this is some crazy radical socialist thing. No, it's not.
No.
These people like it too. They want it. They see the need.
And even if they don't like the slogan, if you take a moment to explain what defund the police actually means, wildly popular. But the truth is, the people in power want to stay with those slogans, just the way they didn't like Black Lives Matter in 2015 and 2016, because that was so offensive. And then when it became defund the police, then they're like, why don't we go back to something really nice, like Black Lives Matter? They're always behind the times. They're always waiting for permission from the higher ups. And the higher ups are always doing this to pit everybody against each other, because the actual policies are popular. Which is why we can't have a democracy, because if we did, these people would be voted out, and they're never going to allow a system that will remove them from power.
They're not. And I was just thinking about this is this is the 2-year plan or whatever, if you're a leftist or something, is because what's going to happen is we're going to get a few wins. We're going to get Mamdani. We're going to get maybe the oyster farmer. We're going to get a few. And then that's going to be a justification for not protesting as much, because look, we can take over the Democratic Party. We're going to hear that message is going to be louder when we all know it's not going to work and the party is still going to be fighting against it. But we're going to have more people who are libs to start with. They're going to believe that. They're going to believe oh, I'm left, but hey man, we got to take over the party. So we have to keep educating them on the stuff about the Democratic Party, wholly owned by donors. They plan to stop us if we have progressive stuff. So,
and also not let anybody off the hook. I am loving Mamdani right now. I am loving Graham Plattner. I really, hope that Ilhan Omar is not insider trading, but I have no problem telling the truth about her or those two men if there's something that needs to be talked about. Like, I'm not trying to protect anybody in power. I think that's another big difference. Like, I have a lot of hope for what these people could possibly do, but we still always have to hold them to account and never protect them and never do what libs do, which is like, it's the midterms, it's not time. Oh, he's only been in office for 100 days, give him time. Oh, it's about to be like, that can never be permissible, I think, because that's
Absolutely.
how you get AOC. Yeah.
The inside outside strategy is, I think, correct. Like, get some more people inside, but the inside outside strategy to where you drop the outside and we're just inside and suddenly we're a team of Democrats that just, they do the work for us and we don't have to do anything. That's never happening in our lifetime. In Star Trek fucking 2738 or something, whatever year it is that shit finally fucking happens, great. But like, we're not in that world. We're in the world where we have to fight the Democrats every day for 50 years minimum because they're not going to work for us.
Timbuktu, how do you get that commie electric and water company? And where do you live? We all need that. Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. Also, am I going to have to start watching Star Trek? Like, obviously, I'm decades behind. I know it's like the socialist thing, but I just am not a science fiction person. But I like the idea of it.
All right. I think we can't. I know we're moving on from Democrats, but can we just point this out real quick? What? Not that one. Hang on. Booker.
Oh my
got
God.
engaged. Look at the glow up.
She looks just like Rosario Dawson.
She looks so much like.
Thank you. Got it. Vancouver, Washington. That sounds
and
good.
She's probably very attractive. I just the pictures aren't doing wonders for her, but
Alexis
I don't
Lewis.
care about looks or whatever. But like Rosario Dawson is truly,
she's awesome, but like it really
Anyway,
breaks my heart that she would run cover for him. But yes. All right, Kitty, I might have to check it out for you. Okay, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Anyway, I don't want to say what's going on with Cory Booker's heart and soul, but like there's a lot of stuff about Cory Booker that doesn't imply he's really attracted to this woman, but
this feels like his big what was
PR for 2020.
Taking a stand. Yeah, take a stand and do a filibuster for absolutely nothing. Like, nobody cares that he's gay. Why would that ever be a problem? He's New Jersey. Like, it's not a problem. So what is going on here? Like, it really makes me sad. And like, I hate that anybody ever feels like he or she or whoever has to deny who they are. So it's not from, but why? Nobody gives a fuck. Like, we care that you are running around with Rabbi Shmuley and taking AIPAC money and big pharma money and being an ass about a very popular mayoral candidate in the state right next to you, and that you stand for absolutely nothing, that you're an empty suit. Like, that all is important if you're going to be a person who is supposed to represent your constituents. But like, I don't like, all of this is, I don't know. It's just embarrassing.
Look, it is what it is, but nobody, like you said, look, look, the rumor is that he's gay, and that's great. Who knows? Maybe he's bi. Who knows? Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Right? Nobody cares. But it's almost like you're making Pete Buttigieg look authentic, like because he's such a phony. So yeah. I don't know. I probably shouldn't even stepped in this. I don't care at all. Like, obviously I don't care. The hypocrisy of it is the only one thing that is possible. But even that, we probably shouldn't even speculate on it. Who cares? He's a shitbag. I've seen him at the conventions in person. Like,
yeah,
he's a phony. He turns his acting on in front of the camera, and that's his whole career, is acting in front of the camera. And this just feels like more of that. And even if it's authentic, nobody cares about your marriage, dude. You're not a rock star. I mean,
well, especially not when you're sending weapons to a 21st century genocide. Like, I don't give a fuck if you're happy and in love. I really don't. Like, don't advertise it. Keep that to yourself. Even if that's a true relationship, whatever, great. How about you speak out for the blown off bits of children, the forced starvation of Palestinians, the rubble that, like, honestly, it's so like gauche at this point. Like, nobody gives a fuck if you're happy when those are your votes. I don't care. Like, you don't deserve happiness. You don't, and you certainly don't deserve to advertise it to the world.
And if there's one thing nobody wants to see right now, is even their favorite politician fucking happy. You fucking piece of shit. The country's falling apart.
Yeah.
Your empty rhetoric for hours did nothing, and then you followed it up immediately, like by not voting for a resolution to stop funding, or I forget what it was even at this point, but like, it's just nonsense, you know. And then he's taking the picture with AIPAC and hiding behind it.
Yeah.
And so really, when it comes to 2028, we're looking at the same old cast. They're going to push Booker, push Newsom, they're going to push Kamala.
The joy.
So we're going to relive all the trauma forever. And Booker can't win. Newsom can't win.
Kamala certainly can't win.
We don't even know who they're running against, but I can tell you those three can't win.
Definitely not. And all the people who are like, where's Jill Stein every 4 years? Like, she's getting arrested. She's going to all these conventions. She's speaking out for Palestinian rights. She's speaking out for, universal health care. And Kamala, your lady, wrote a book about her 107 days. And that's her public service. Like, these people are supposed to be public servants. I don't know. It's just the disconnect between what people are actually enduring and the highfalutin lives that they get to live while they're denied, because that doesn't happen without denying us our rights, right? So they really,
I mean, part of me
they
wants
deserve
to
everything we're getting is actually, sorry. Yeah.
They deserve it all. In fairness, like, everyone getting married deserves to do a little blow up picture cycle and brag about it. But
no, not if you support a genocide. Nope. Sorry. Disagree. Hard
we
pass.
should hate him. I'm just saying.
Like, I know you're trying to be.
I don't really look anybody. If someone I liked had a photo series like this, I'd be like, yeah, whatever, who cares? But like, it's the other stuff that's more important. But he's just a PR creation. He's an actor who backs all the terrible policies of the Democratic Party. So that's what's important.
But I will say that, like, when I see, and again, I'm not trying to like deify this guy, Mamdani, because he's going to disappoint me, and then we'll say all the shitty things about him also that he will deserve when he does, if whatever. But like, when he is dancing at the Labor Day parades and enjoying eating different foods with his fingers and, doing his nip slip rap videos, it's paired with also speaking out about important issues and being on the correct side of humanity, right? So like, I can give a pass to him having a day or a moment of some joy. When you are somebody who is taking big pharma money and denying people health care, when you are, working with the billionaires for charter school passes that's going to ruin public education, when you are pro-genocide, I don't you actually don't get any of, you should not be allowed to show joy in public. That's my feeling.
Well, you know what a Democratic consultant would hear from that?
They
hear that Booker needs to do a nip slip rap video.
That's what's coming.
That's
what's
hey.
So. That's totally what's going to come. Yeah. And sorry, Lori, absolutely. Mo was joking. He is not a Chelsea Clinton 2028, whether it's for Congress, Senate, City Council, or president. But just to make sure that, yes, clarified. All right. It's 7:15 and we have a show to prepare for tomorrow. So we should probably let everybody go in hopes that you get a good night of rest so you can stay up for our 6:30 p.m. show Thursday night. Right?
Oh, you waiting for some more? Yeah, tomorrow is our first new show. Tune in and see what it's all about. I don't know. It's going to be different than this show. We're going to be checking news sources during the show.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit more media specific, right?
It's very different than what we're doing tonight. So
yeah,
it's going to.
So if you feel like you got your fill of us tonight, it's going to be a whole new fill tomorrow.
Yeah, and I think we're going to keep it to an hour. We're kind of going to be kind of rigid on that.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be us blathering all night like I like to do. But
thank you, Truth to Tweet. You're right. 6:30 Pacific time, California. 9:30. It's so late. East Coast time. So hope that you will be able to join us for a bit, and we will lull you into a gentle sleep. No, I'm kidding. We'll try and keep things fun still, even as we deal with our crazy media spin. All right, we love all you guys. We didn't even get, there was some stuff that, we didn't talk about Israel and what's happening there, but unfortunately it's ongoing. We will, continue to talk about it tomorrow. Do you have any last words before we sign off?
Not really. I mean, I think tomorrow, look, if there's stuff that we left off the day before our Thursday show, sometimes we'll get to it the next day. Sometimes it'll be something during the day. But tomorrow's show will be fun, just that it's different, but bring your questions too. It's going to be more of an open discussion sometimes.
Yeah. And definitely wear your swimsuits and balloon hats. What? I love it. Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right. Yesterday, 2 days ago, it was Labor Day. And as we all know, that was devised by the people in power to make sure that the U.S. did not have the same Labor Day as the rest of the world, which is May 1st. And yet there were still marches and parades and people trying to fight for working rights. So we salute everybody who showed up and showed out, and all the hard work that people do who organize, and whatever you're able to do in these times is much appreciated. So I don't know.
You're here. See you guys tomorrow.
Right.
6:30
Pacific time. Yeah.
Wait, who was asking in the chat? We're in California. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. We're in California, so 6:30 Pacific time.
Yeah. Anyway. And we'll send out, tweets and posts to remind everybody.
All
right, everybody. We love you all. We'll see you tomorrow. Keep punching up.
Cheers.
The billionaire class has controlled our political environment. They've controlled our work lives. They've controlled our media. And the working class has more power than we know. And today's the day to start reminding people that we have to unite in order to push back. Today's the start of a long-term plan to reorganize the working class. Maybe next year it'll say workers over politicians.
Working for a company, Delta Airlines, for as long as I have, for so long they told us we were a family, that they stood by us, that they took care of us. And you're kind of blinded in this little bubble. And when you step out of that bubble, you really start realizing they're not standing with you. On the contrary, you are a cost to them, and that's the bottom line. All they care about is their profits, and my livelihood, my life, period, is affected every single day, and they don't care.
What brought me out here today is not just because it's a Labor Day movement, but just because there are multiple things going on around the country, and it's also time that we also learn how to stand up to the billionaires and also the other companies and tell them that enough is enough. We're tired of being treated like peasants and ants, and it's time for us to stand up for what we deserve and use our voice to the maximum by any means necessary.
It's really the workers who are making the world go round, not just in America, but around the world. And it's not really the millionaires who are creating jobs. It is the workers who are creating the food that we eat, the clothes that we wear, the houses that we live in.
Whether you're in the, in the building trades or painting or a pipe fitter or a nurse,
We have a voice in safe employment, and we demand to be compensated for that. All of this wealth should not be in the pockets of a few oligarchs.
Everyone right now knows what's under attack, and it's only when we come together that we can fight back. We've already seen it with attacks on DMH, attacks on certain mental health resources, and so that's part of why I'm here with 509 to say that we need mental health resources now more than ever. We're not going to let unions be under attack. We're not going to let them divide us, and we're going to come through as a united message.